Hi, and welcome to The Leader's Edge, our weekly live interview show with Georgia Donaldson and I,
Morning.
Emily Chewa. We feature successful CEOs and professionals who are so kind to share, excuse me,
Mhm.
to share their
Too
stories.
early.
We want to bring you awareness, inspiration, and leadership tips for you to action so that you'll sharpen your competitive advantage and make a positive impact in your organization and community. Remember, if you are watching us live, you can leave a comment on LinkedIn for any of our speakers to address. And if you're watching the replay, comment replay so we'll know that you stopped by. Today we are talking to Kevin Hassanali that Georgia will introduce very shortly. And our topic is plan, execute, lead. And when we think of leadership, of course, we are thinking results. We can't just, I know a lot of our shows talk about wellness and talk about the way we approach things and culture and so on, but we also need results. So Kevin is going to be a results man explaining to us how are we going to execute and plan and therefore lead our projects. So Kevin and Georgia, let's get started. And yeah, go.
Yeah, we're ready. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Emily. Good morning, all of you who are watching us this Monday morning. And I know some of you will catch us on the replay. Nothing will be watered down. You're getting the full effect of the show if you watch it afterwards. And guess who we have with us in the seat? In the Leader's Edge seat this morning, it is Dr. Kevin Hassanali. And Kevin hails from Trinidad and Tobago, so he's a Trinbagonian, but he uprooted and he's now in Guyana. And Kevin is the general manager of Rentokil in Guyana. A couple of things about Kevin, is that he has a reputation of increasing profitability. He also has a reputation of increasing sales. And guess what he reduces? He reduces operational expenses. Kevin has been in project management and he's been in operations. And Kevin talks and walks project management. Kevin, I want you to share your story with our viewers and our listeners. Why project management? This obsession and this passion about project management and leadership. Share your story.
All right, thanks, Emily and Georgia. Thank you for having me on the show. Well, for me, it started maybe 18 years ago when I started my undergrad degree in engineering. One of the courses that stood out to me was actually the project management course. I aced that course, didn't do too well in the other courses, but that one spoke to me. Something
Okay.
about being able to manage time, it sparked an interest in me. Now, of course, schedules, as you know, in project management is related to time and everything is connected to time. Costs are byproduct, so it's like a lagging indicator in the grand scheme of things when you measure in labor and so on. But it's basically that whole ideology of being in control of an initiative from start to finish. That's that sparked my interest. And when I started in industry as an industrial engineer, um, I would basically projectize every single one of my activities, whether it's
Ah,
in the finance
Project
department,
time.
the operations department, yeah, projectification, I would call it,
yes.
Okay.
right? So at the time, a lot of organizations didn't, they separated project management as a separate, like a isolated field from the
Mm-hmm.
business. But
Mm-hmm.
from since then, I started to look for avenues and ways to really integrate both, business excellence together with project management, right?
Right.
So, and from since then, I moved from engineering into project management, full time into a project management role. And then I transitioned from your conventional project management of, delivering construction projects within scope, time, and budget, to more on the strategy side, to the strategic initiative side of the business.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Good. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
and so
wonderful.
so so moving into strategy then allowed me to pivot into a general manager role, which is more
Yeah.
than it's not that I forgot about my project management roots. I use
Yeah.
project management every single day in my in
So
how I
as you
lead.
see, you've integrated it, you've incorporated it.
Correct.
Good. So talk to us about the benefits that you've seen in using that methodology.
Yeah. And before you jump in, I think he's advocating that we should all use it, right?
Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So yeah, so tell us.
Yes.
Tell us.
Personal
Yeah.
life and professional life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it basically keeps your agenda. Everyone in their personal life, they have agendas. Everything could be considered a endeavor where you have a fixed start time and a fixed end time with a cost, with a budget, and a scope of what needs to get done. You know, so it helps you to also manage your personal life as well.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the
So
big benefit, sorry,
go ahead.
Georgia.
Go
So
ahead.
the big benefit is getting things done and getting things done. Full stop. And
Correct.
then within time and budget. But I'm curious, like as you said, everybody should use this, but what makes it how can we do that? So if we're not like you and we're not just we don't love this thing, how can you help us to love this thing a little bit more? What would be some tips you can give us to say as leaders, here's why adopting a project management mindset or projectizing, what you said, projectizing
Project
Projectizing.
Asia,
approach
yes.
is
Yeah.
going to be good for you. Tell us
And,
a little.
and particularly those of us who are not trained at all in project management.
Exactly.
Right. So in keeping with the theme of this program, the Leader's Edge,
Mm-hmm.
I'll stay away from the hardcore engineering and construction side of project management and focus more
Yes.
on the strategic side.
Yeah.
So I practice these days. I practice and it's well flourished in the academic literature. Uh, Strategic project management. So basically, what it does. So if it is we were to unpack that term, strategic project management. So strategy in relation to business is basically where a business has in their business planning phase certain goals that they want to achieve. So let's say, for example, they would like to increase organic growth or inorganic growth in order to maybe double profitability or something of that regard. How then do we come up with the right initiatives and strategies which would then turn into projects in order to
Mm-hmm.
deliver that? So what I would usually do in the past and even now is I would bring in the balanced scorecard concept. I'm not sure if you're all familiar with that, but basically it's
Yes.
a performance management tool
Mm-hmm.
where it's like the overarching framework where the business creates objectives that they need to achieve within four perspective or four functional areas, and
Mm-hmm.
and then take those objectives and create initiatives in order to
Around
deliver
them. Mm-hmm.
around them. So, for
Right.
example, if it is you want to grow your business and it includes the construction of a warehouse, for example, or the
Mm-hmm.
acquisition of a new business for inorganic growth, that then forms our objective in your business plan under the balanced scorecard framework. And
Mm-hmm.
then we bring in the project management tools in order to deliver that. So how then do we plan and successfully execute the construction of a warehouse or the acquisition of a new business? And that entire process becomes projectized, and then we once you apply the project management skills and tools to that specific initiative or project, you then deliver towards the business goals. So what I've seen in industry over the past decade or so, there's sometimes a gap between strategy and execution. So
Yes.
I think project management is like the quintessential middle child that delivers on the strategy. So it's that link between strategy and execution.
I
Right?
like that. I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Correct.
And I mean, what makes leaders good, right? When we say there's good leadership, it's a lot of it has to do with results. If we're not
Mm-hmm.
getting results and we're doing everything else, well,
Correct.
something isn't working, right? So we are talking,
Right.
but we're not getting to the finish line.
Correct.
Yes.
So the middle child,
You can
they
have
must send the middle
bigger
child, which is
plans.
project management.
But I
Yeah,
would
and
often
some
I
have
would often
plans
say
in the
that
world and they
strategy.
go nowhere.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would often say that strategy without the right execution is just a fancy PowerPoint
Yeah.
with flow diagrams. And
Yes.
and likewise, the converse is also true where execution without strategy is basically chaos, where you end up delivering projects that adds no value to the business.
Right.
So both of them needs to actually go hand in hand.
Yeah.
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 Kevin, you know what? Life happens. So you have a project, you're projectizing this thing. So you have your start date and you have your end date, but things happen in between. How do you plan for contingencies and other things that come in between your start date and your plan date? What's your recommendation?
Okay, so then it depends on what project management methodology you adopt. So I typically use the PMP, PMBOK methodology. And within that methodology, there are a lot of management plans that you build during the feasibility and the planning phase. Right?
Right.
And a big one of those plans is the risk management plan.
Okay.
And then there's the contingencies that you build into that risk plan, which will then have an impact on whether you have additional time, like a buffer time on your schedule, or additional costs in the event that that risk becomes a reality.
Okay. Okay, good. So you build those contingencies in that plan.
Correct.
Okay, great. Well, Emily, let me tell you something. Even in your personal life, Kevin is saying in your personal life, you can projectize certain
Yeah,
things.
I want to hear an example of that, Kevin.
Yes, Kevin, have you used that? Have you
You've
used
been
that
using that
at
in your
home?
personal.
It gets me in a lot of trouble at home. Yes,
I
yes.
can imagine.
Too. I'm
Like,
often
people think you're
I'm often
rigid.
told that I'm too robotic. Yes, need to relax. Not everything needs to form part of a Gantt chart.
But you get things done, right? At the end of the day,
Absolutely,
come
absolutely.
back and they say, Kevin, that was well done. I'm glad you did it. So you
Yes,
stand the risk of being called a robot, but at the end of the day, it gets done.
correct, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah.
So,
But I
so
mean, like, seriously, coming back to that, like, what's a good example of that in your personal life? Like, or somebody talking to you, or where you might have helped them break it down as a project.
Well, in my personal life, I'm also an academic, so I utilize that concept of project management when writing like journal articles.
okay.
Um,
Never
I need
thought
to
of that. Yeah.
particular deadlines. Even if it's to, let's say, to construct. I don't know, even with my daughter, how I teach my daughter project management, sometimes, it's like, she has a certain time that she has access to a particular room, start time and end time, right?
Okay.
The cost of the cost of the consumables, and when that end time reach or it arrives, then she needs to leave that room. Otherwise, her mom is going to come and kick her out. So she has to deliver on that.
I like
Well, we
that.
call it a project, before the time is up. You know,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh my goodness.
You
The
you make
ultimate
it you make
project
it fun.
manager.
It's like a game. It's like a
correct.
game at
And
home
for
to get things
resources,
done within time, and
yeah,
for people for your daughter to recognize there's a cost to resources
Yes,
and
yes.
time and
You
time.
can you can get away with that now, Kevin. How old is she?
she's 9.
Okay, good. Enjoy it while you can.
But he's
Absolutely.
also giving her some tools. She might rebel in the middle, but in the end, she'll be like, the tools will be there. So
Yes.
yeah, I mean, I guess what you're saying. I mean, like for the journal articles. I mean, even if you're doing a degree, whatever you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
um, the idea is we can break down whatever it is into actionable steps.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Kevin, you call those initiatives in the balanced scorecard approach, um,
Right.
and and monitor how things are being done
Right.
against a plan so that you
Mm-hmm.
can see you can get yourself to the finish line and obviously build in contingencies and build in what is necessary in order to that may get in the way things that may get in the way think through what might get in the way so that we could plan for those eventualities as well.
Right.
So I mean the idea is simple. I mean, simple. I mean, obviously, there's a whole certification. What is it, the PMP behind
Mm.
this thing? So, I mean, and there are many other courses and stuff that people could do on project management. I'm sure there are plenty of short courses. But
Yes.
if you are a leader, I guess the call to action this morning, Georgia and Kevin, if you are a leader
Yes.
that you feel like maybe your execution isn't always on point.
Yeah.
Maybe things don't always, go according to plan. So look at your plans and see why that is happening. And it's possible that if you look into this project management mindset concept a little bit more, maybe there may be tools in here that might
Mm-hmm.
help you to do better at executing and
Yes.
figuring out what are where are the stop gaps, where are the things that are getting in your way so that's preventing you from getting to that finish
Yeah.
line. And a
Yeah.
lot of times, I mean, I'm guilty of this, is I overschedule myself all the time. And I think that things will take much less time than it does. And so I end up in trouble. I mean,
Yes.
still, although I know this, still I do it. So I mean, look at yourself. I mean, maybe you might be like me, tending to overestimate how much time. What there's a saying for this. I mean, I think we overestimate how much time we can do in a long period, but underestimate a short period. I can't remember which way it goes,
Okay. Yeah.
but it's important to sort of recognize how you are with managing these very important resources as
Right.
leaders. Yeah.
That's so true. And Kevin, I'm sure that you will talk to people about the assessment phase after. So after you've executed, how do you assess to see how well you've done and what you do differently? Yeah.
Absolutely, yes.
Great. Well, Kevin, it has been a pleasure. I'm thinking now, the wheels are turning in my head. I have a few things coming up, and I really need to get down to executing them properly. And I need to make sure that I have a proper structure. So thanks for putting that in my head. Emily, over to you to close.
Yes, Kevin. So thank you for getting up at this hour and jumping online with us this morning and giving us some of this time and sharing your passion for project management. So, this has been another edition of Leaders Edge. We hope that people really enjoyed it as we have. And remember, we are about planning, executing, and leading this week. All right.
Yes.
So, everyone, and take care.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Thanks again, Kevin.